Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to Furman Football Mondays presented by Ingalls and Bon Secours. I am Dan Scott, the voice of the Paladins, here with head coach Clay Hendrix. Wide receiver Ryan DeLuca is going to join us in a little bit, and we hope that you'll enjoy what we've got coming up for you the next 30 minutes. Highlights and conversation about Furman's overtime win over Samford here at Paladin Stadium this past Saturday, and looking ahead to the road game at East Tennessee State University this coming Saturday. Coach, how are you? Have you recovered?
I have. I'm well. Certainly great to get a win. Really proud of our kids. I think it just speaks for the character and the culture we've tried to create, with our team, and just the fact that they hung in there, and a lot of ups and downs, and didn't look real good at times. But they hung in there and found a way, and it was just a great team effort. It took everybody.
I hate asking the have you ever been involved in a game like this question, so I won't exactly ask it that way. But from an emotional roller coaster standpoint, I would imagine this one would have to be one of your top two or three.
It ranks up there pretty high. Somebody asked me that this morning. I hadn't given it a lot of thought, but this one certainly had some changes. Every time I felt like, we got a chance to get it to a one-score game and everything would change, but and then we couldn't get it there, and then finally fourth quarter we figured it out.
Scored on our opening possession. It was after forcing a fumble on the kickoff. The game began with a fumble and it ended with a fumble on the final play of overtime. I've been covering college football for over 2 decades and broadcasting it for years now. I've never seen a game start that way and end that way.
Well, I can add something to that. Both fumbles were the ball carriers were hit by their own guy. Our guys knocked them into them. I think Braden Gilby knocked the guy into the kickoff return. Did a great job, and then probably Landon Lawrence, probably a combination of Cameron Coleman and Landon Lawrence, pushed their guy into the one on the goal line, which I think is really kind of what caused it to pop out, and then certainly happy to see Cali get on top of it.
Yeah, fall behind 24-7 after the first quarter in an uphill battle. The rest of the way scored 2 touchdowns in the final 6:29 of regulation to force overtime, win it in the extra period. It was just a crazy day here at Paladin Stadium. As we look at the game summary and some of the numbers, you can see the line score. You're down 24-7, and then you start to kind of claw your way back again. You slip back in the third quarter and then have the big fourth quarter in overtime.
Yeah, Dan, we made enough plays. Obviously we had some big plays, certainly none bigger than really Ryan Miller's catch and run, and I think it'd be tough for many tight ends to do what he did, but he's a guy we felt like could do that, and something we'd worked hard to have that thing set up. But, we did a lot of good things. Well, we can play a lot better, and we're going to have to really be the team that we want to be. It's just something we got to start tonight at practice, and just continue to get a little better at everything we do.
The play that tied it was the Ryan Miller touchdown, and we're going to see that a little bit later on. But I don't know if you saw the tweet. I think it was put together by one of Hunter Reed's staff as some of the first half highlights begin to roll. We'll get to those in a second. But they highlighted yellow boxed Andre Bernardi on the sideline as Miller is heading 73 yards, and they clocked Bernardi at 16.5 miles an hour.
I actually saw that tweet myself, and that doesn't surprise me if that is true. Coaches, I told somebody it's kind of like Darius Kearse. Darius ran the guy down on the long run. They said, I didn't know if Darius was that fast. I said, I don't think he is, but there's something to wanting to get there, and Andre kind of wants to get wherever he's going. So I can see where that may be the case.
Our Bon Secours first half highlights, seeing some of the action from here early at Paladin Stadium as Furman fell behind and then starts to claw its way back. Hamp Sisson there with the first of 2 touchdown passes to Ryan Miller. And Hamp did not have a great first half. In fact, at one point in the fourth quarter, he was just 4 of 16 passing. But as we'll see in a moment, the young man closed strong.
Well, he did. I tell you one thing I think nobody questions is Hamp's toughness, and he's resilient, and Hamp will tell you, he'll be the first one to tell you he's got to play better. He's got to do some things better, as most of the guys on our team do. But for a quarterback, he's kind of like those corners. I think he's got a short memory. and he just kind of keeps pushing, keeps fighting, and certainly came up with some big plays down the stretch for us.
One of the big plays we're seeing in the Bon Secours second half highlights now was the interception by Darius Kearse, which came one play after Samford had intercepted Hamp Sisson, so that was a big turnaround. Then Hamp keeps that play alive, the touchdown pass to DeLuca in the end zone, and then here is the Ryan Miller screen. That was a great call and set up perfectly.
Well, it was. You know, it's funny. We threw that to Andy Shumpert the first year we were here against Samford. And I think Coach Quarles told me that Andy sent him a message Saturday night and said, still works. Said Ryan's a little faster than I was, so he scored. But no, it just good, really good call, really good execution, and certainly got to a player that can make a big play.
And here's the final play of the game, the fumble when they had it first and goal at the 2.5-yard line in overtime. And the Paladins sneak out of Paladin Stadium with the 44-37 win. Gives us a chance quickly to look at the conference standings before we go to our break. And we will get those popped up on the screen here in just a second. And after the break, we'll visit with Ryan DeLuca. But here are the standings as they sit right now. VMI and Chattanooga both win again. ETSU has only played one game, and they are Furman with 2 wins in 3 tries. Wofford and Mercer at 1-1. Samford now 1-2. Citadel and Western Carolina both looking for their first win of the 2021 spring season. When we come back, Ryan DeLuca will jump into the hot seat, and after that, Clay and I will have an extended period of time to continue talking about this one, plus look ahead to ETSU. Furman Football Mondays, brought to you by Ingalls and Bon Secours, continues in just a moment.
Spink's chicken tenders
aren't just fast and fresh. They're crispier, crunchier, juicier, saucier, spicier, legendary-ier. Oh, so many options. One easy stop. Spink's, making life easier. Spink's drinks aren't just fast and fizzy. They're fruitier, chewier, bolder, creamier, slushier, bigger, refreshing-ier. Oh, so many options. One easy stop. Spink's, making life easier.
We are a team. We are a unit. We are a family. No, literally. We are a suburban family of football fans. That's our neighbor. Hi, Bob. And that's the inflatable screen we forgot to properly secure.
Pepsi, made for football. Watch it.
Spink's chicken tenders aren't just fast and fresh. They're crispier, crunchier, juicier, saucier, spicier, legendary-ier. Oh, so many options. One easy stop. Spink's, making life easier. Spink's drinks aren't just fast and fizzy. They're fruitier, chewier, bolder, creamier, slushier, bigger, refreshing-ier. Oh, so many options. One easy stop. Spink's, making life easier.
The new Stats FCS poll has just been released, and Furman comes in ranked at number 15 this week as we welcome you back to the Bon Secours Ingalls Furman Football Monday. I'm Dan Scott. If you have any questions for the final segment with Coach Hendrix, you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can leave those in the comments section, and our stage manager, it's your title, right? Stage manager, among other things, all the hats he wears, Ty Osborne, will get those to us, and we'll pass those along to the coach. Ryan DeLuca in the hot seat, in the spotlight, and he's been in the spotlight especially the last 2 weeks, turning in 173 yards and receptions 2 weeks ago, 114 this week, and I guess we'll call you a conditional senior because you're coming back in the fall. Wide receiver is off to a great start here in the spring. How are you, young man?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Tell me I know what Coach Hendrix said he was going through on Saturday. Tell me from a player standpoint what that roller coaster ride was like.
Oh man, I think my heartbeat is just now getting back to a regular pace. It was great start. We were all hype, and we got the fumble and we converted on it. It felt like we were going in a perfect direction. And then we kind of started falling back a little bit, got down big, but we got so many leaders on this team, so many old guys that really know how to stay in it. We've been experienced in these games, and it doesn't have to be one guy every game. We have a lot of people that bringing everyone up on the sideline. So, really gave us faith, hope in that we were going to come back and win. And then after that, that was probably the best feeling I've had in a long time.
And it's interesting because every game you play, almost without fail, you're going to face some kind of adversity. That happens. But rarely do the wheels completely fall off like they do, and then you're able to come back. I mean, I have seen plenty of games where that first quarter happens, and you end up getting beat 48-13 or something like that. How were you able to keep it together?
Right, turning it around is probably the hardest part. Once we got to the overtime, I was like, we've come this far. There's no way we can lose now. That kind of feeling. But turning it around, you definitely got to look within yourself, do your job, make sure that you're executing your job, and trust everyone else around you is going to get it done. And that's how we just stuck together and got it done.
We're seeing some highlights first from last week's VMI game, and that'll roll into what we saw here on Saturday. These are all of you, by the way. You've strung these two fantastic games together. What's the chemistry building? How's that going with you and Hamp and really the rest of the offense?
Right. We really focused on it in the offseason. We kind of knew Hamp was going to be the guy. So we worked together, personal stuff along with all the receivers, got extra work in when practice was over, all that stuff. Really trying to be on the same page mentally, hanging out off the field and watching film together, stuff like that. I think it's going great. He knows what I'm going to do. I know what he's going to do. And I think in terms of the offense, we're all on the same page. And, any time a play is called, we're just trying to all do it.
I don't know if making it easier is the right phrase. You can tell me, but comfort level coming into an off season and then into a preseason, knowing who the number one quarterback is going to be, as opposed to maybe that position being unsettled like it has been in the past. How does that change things?
Right. I mean, you obviously, you got to split up your time between two different guys when you don't know who it's going to be, and that's not a bad thing. We had, two great talents, but when you know it's going to be one guy, you kind of are ride or die with that guy through the highs and the lows. So it really makes it good to, get some experience through adversity that way. I think that's what's helped us this year so far.
You ready to play 5 questions?
I am. Let's do it.
Well, I tell you what. First, let's talk about some of the highlights we have here from this game. And we talked about your pass catching. How about this reverse that you run on the option?
Yeah, it was nice. I saw it called in from the side, and I was just thinking, we've been setting them up all game, running pretty good. So maybe we'll get to hit this one, and it was nice to get out there in the open field.
One of the things that has hit big in these past couple of weeks has been you coming on crossing patterns, which we see here. That seems to be something that you and Hamp are really in sync on.
Right. I think we've kind of established that, once Hamp gets the ball back there and he can just find a hole to look through the line through, if I'm there, I'm telling him, just put it on me and I'll find a way to go make a play. And so we've done a really good job in terms of just communicating that way so far this season.
And quickly, what about the touchdown we saw where he has to scramble out to the right and you have to keep the play alive, seeing what your quarterback is doing, breaking off your pattern and coming this way towards the sideline in the end zone? How did that develop?
Right. I haven't talked to Coach Bratton about this play yet, so we'll see what he says. I was supposed to have a corner, but the corner was taken away, so I figured, why not turn it into a go? And once I turned it into a go, I saw Hamp roll out to the right, and I was like, I got to take off. And he saw me, thankfully. And so we'll see if I get in trouble for that, but thank God it worked out in the game.
So you're sitting here admitting for all the world to see that you intentionally ran the wrong play. Coach is sitting right over there, right?
I do. Unfortunately, you gotta do what you gotta do during the game.
I understand. I like it. I like it. Now, you ready to play 5 questions?
Yes, sir.
Let's venture down Ingalls aisle 5 and play 5 questions with Ryan DeLuca, the senior wide receiver from Fort Mill, South Carolina. Here we go. Question number 1. Who are the last 3 artists you listen to on your iPod or whatever device you have?
Drake just released 3 songs, so that's been mainly what I've been listening to. Drake, Lil Baby, and actually a personal favorite of mine, Jack Harlow.
Okay. I think Marcus McMorris will be good with the Lil Baby especially.
I got you.
Number 2, who's the best player that you played against in high school?
In high school, it was funny. We were actually going to play Zion Williamson in a scrimmage, but that ended up not happening, so I didn't get my wish. But we played J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in high school. He played for Dorman in football, and now he's on the Eagles. And played him in a playoff game. He did pretty well against us, I'll say that.
Question number 3, you referenced Brian Bratton a minute ago. True or false? Brian Bratton can still do every wide receiver drill and do it at a high level.
I will give you true on that as long as it's 1 rep. You know, his stamina isn't there yet, but if you give him 1 rep, he can pretty much do everything that he needs to be able to do.
All right, quickly, question 4. Best restaurant in your hometown of Fort Mill. No chains. It's got to be where the locals go.
Right. I actually had a job at this place. It's called Charonda's. It's a Mexican place, and I used to make some of the avocado there. So, you know, it was a favorite of mine, and our family went there a lot, so that's got to be my favorite.
All right, question number 5. Who's your funniest teammate?
Our funniest teammate definitely has to be DeMarcus Clay. We call him Champ. You know, when we're doing our rah-rah stuff, he's the guy that gets in the middle, and he can say literally anything, and it's just funny.
I always ask, is he intentionally funny, or is he funny without knowing he's funny?
No, I think most of the time it's intentional, but it does just sometimes come off as just that's who he is, and he's just doing what he is, and it's just funny.
All right, good stuff. Hey, man, I tell you what, rapid fire. You didn't blink. You didn't cheat, did you? Didn't
No,
look
sir.
at the
No,
questions
sir.
ahead of time.
Got to be prepared.
Okay, I like it. Ryan DeLuca, congratulations on just an incredible comeback, and let's see what we can do at ETSU. How about a nice 30-point win? You know,
That'd be nice, right?
Be able to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
You take one of those?
I agree. Let's do it.
We'll see what happens. When we come back, Clay Hendrix will join us for the final segment of this Furman Football Monday presented by Ingalls of Bon Secour right after this.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secour, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secour, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecour.com/primary care to connect with a provider today.
Because of this, we built Ford Super Duty to be our most capable heavy-duty pickup. Because of this, we gave the all-new 2021 F-150 an available 12-inch touchscreen. Because of this, we built Ranger with a terrain management system. And because Ford trucks are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. Don't miss the chance to get a 2020 F-150 with up to $10,531 in total savings at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Spink's chicken tenders aren't just fast and fresh. They're crispier, crunchier, juicier, saucier, spicier, legendary-ier. Oh, so many options. One easy stop. Spink's, making life easier. Spink's drinks aren't just fast and fizzy. They're fruitier, chewier, bolder, creamier, slushier, bigger, refreshing-ier. Oh, so many options. One easy stop. Spink's, making life easier.
Now your doorbell is your dinner bell. A big Bow-Box delivery from Bojangles will feed the whole family. Just tap your app for 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixins, and tea. It's bow time.
Furman Football Mondays brought to you by Ingalls and Bon Secour, continuing here from Paladins Stadium. I hope you've got a good view of behind us, because this is probably the best shot that we've had of Paris Mountain yet. It is just gorgeous overlooking Paladins Stadium, and it was a great, great scene here on Saturday as well. As we get back into this final segment, remind you again, if you have any questions for Coach watching on Facebook or YouTube, just leave them in the comments section. Ty Osborne will get them to us. And let's take a quick look now at our Bon Secour catch of the game. And you actually saw it in the full highlight package a moment ago. It is the throwback tight end screen to Ryan Miller, where he goes 73 yards for a touchdown that tied the game toward the end of regulation and set up Furman to go on and get the big victory. funniest part about the whole thing, I told you, Clay, that I've never really seen you at a loss for words until that radio interview after the game. You still seem to be kind of searching for what to say because of all the emotion in that one. But Marcus McMorris, our sideline reporter on radio, is interviewing Ryan Miller and talking about that play and asked him what his 40 time was. And he said, maybe 4.5, 4.6. And Marcus said, I had that figured for maybe a 12-yard gain. He didn't realize that Ryan was that fast.
Yeah, Ryan really is fast. I mean, really wide receiver ability. And certainly we try to give him the ball some different ways. I think one of the great things, not many people probably noticed on that particular play, but, Ryan DeLuca actually kind of got in the way of the last guy that had a chance, who was a corner. And I can imagine the corner can run pretty good too. And it almost just became a box out. With the rules now, something we've coached, about you can't, those blindside blocks, you can't do that. And I mean, it was textbook. And that was probably the only guy that really had a chance to get him. And but it's just, those little details of things that kind of make it happen. I mean, we got the pass batted at practice one day last week, and Coach Quarles was really unhappy with Hamp about not putting some air on it. So, there was a lot of work that went into that, and got 3 linemen out to make blocks. And it's as a coach, it's certainly nice to see it come together.
And then Ryan's sitting over here in the wings watching the end of the show, and he's thinking, man, if this had been 2015, I could have peeled back and drilled the guy.
Well,
you can't do that now.
It's true. I mean, it really is. I mean, you can there you saw it just right there. I mean, it's just like textbook how we coach it, and didn't really realize it till I saw it on the tape.
Question has been submitted: how cold was the bucket of water they got you with when you went into the locker room after you got finished with the interviews?
It was pretty cold. I don't know. When I got to that door, something was up. It was awful quiet, and people were away from the door. So that's okay. It was well worth it. And we talk all the time in our program about the fun's in the winning and having a chance to celebrate in there together. And we've had some memorable ones. That was a pretty memorable one.
Next question, and I don't know if this is football related or not, so I'll just ask it and you can answer it. But if you could have absolutely anything in the world, what would it be?
You know what?
That's a loaded question.
That
isn't
is
it?
a loaded question. You know what? I've learned a long time. I think health for myself and my family, and because at the end of the day, if we don't have that, we don't have anything, and we've been really blessed in that regard.
Yeah. Second national championship would probably be in that top 3 or 4. Wouldn't
that
it?
would be pretty good.
Yeah.
That would be pretty good.
I like it. All right, so let's kind of turn the page a little bit. Anything else we need to clean up from Saturday? I know you guys are going to do a lot of cleanup work in practice.
No, I just say this, just tremendous job by our defense and how they continue to play. And, it's funny, we're always looking for ways to improve. And, I think almost half their yards came on those 3 plays they had. And all of them were, they're all things that we can fix, and we need to. They just continue to play, continue to get better, as our whole team has. And, that's what it's going to take for us to get to where we want to be. But, again, it was just a great team. We needed everybody.
Yeah.
We needed everybody to get that win.
Well, here's the schedule for this week coming up. Of course, we will be at ETSU. We'll talk about that in a moment. Citadel on the road at Western Carolina. Wofford at Samford, and Mercer will be at VMI, with Chattanooga having this week's bye in Southern Conference play. So we go to Johnson City, and, of course, the last time we were there, things did not go so well, but got them back here back in the fall of 2019, the last season that we played before this spring season. And they had been playing all of their games at 7 o'clock since they got into their new stadium, so I was a little surprised to see a 1 p.m. start time.
Well, one of the things, we're going up there the day of and play, and so that helped a little bit. I'm not a fan of those late games anyways, but I think that was one thing that was done to try to, we're fortunate there are a few places we can go day of, so we're going to do that. I think a really good football team, what you see about them, in 2021, I think our first 5 opponents, 4 of them will have a bye before us because of cancellations and such, and they were off last week because of the Wofford cancellation. But, I have great respect for Randy Sanders and what he's done, and Billy Taylor, the defense coordinator, I think does a great job. And I think they're built kind of like we are. They try to be really physical, and I think they're coached really well, and we'll have our hands full, and we need a great week of practice. And there's a lot of things we just got to do better than we're doing. And I do think our effort's been good, and as long as we get that and continue to be physical, I think we've got a chance to be where we want to be. But right now, there's just a lot of things we got to do better.
Less than 2 minutes before we have to wrap it up, we've had a question submitted, and I don't know if you can get this in 60 seconds or not, but we'll try. But just asking you to talk more about the leadership of the experienced players like Ryan DeLuca and how important that is when you get to a game like Saturday where things seem to be falling apart and they were able to keep it together.
Well, we finally have an older group of players on our team. It's funny, they're older, but we're still a little bit young class-wise. I tell you what was unique about that game, because I sit there and say it felt like we were going to come back and do this, but I don't know. I just kept I don't think anybody panicked. I think a lot of people were frustrated. I was one of them. But, I think guys just kept it together, kept encouraging each other, and, we just need somebody to make a play. And, maybe it was Darius Kearse with a pick after we just thrown a pick, and so we had several guys step up, and we've got a great group of leaders.
Well, as we roll the tail of the tape for this week's game with ETSU, we'll thank you, Clay Hendrix, for spending the time with us again. Looking forward to seeing what this team can do. Can we start to string together some wins consecutively now and build some momentum as this conference season rolls on? It's been fun.
Well, thank you. And like I said, it was great to get the win. Excited to have a great week of practice. And we've got a big challenge ahead, but these are the kind of games we want to play in, so we're excited about it.
All right, that is head coach Clay Hendrix. I will remind you as we get out of here that the radio broadcast will begin with the Pepsi Countdown to Kickoff at 11:30 a.m. from Johnson City, with the kick at 1 p.m. on ESPN Upstate. And we hope that you'll catch it over the air or online at radio.com. You can also get it at FurmanPaladins.com. This has been Furman Football Monday, brought to you by Ingalls and Bon Secours. For head coach Clay Hendrix, for Byron Apt and his crew, Ty Osborne, I'm Dan Scott. For all of us here at Furman, saying God bless you. So long, everybody.